Good evening and welcome back to Allergic to Stupidity. Attempt number 2. I lost my train of thought. That's what happened. I hope everybody had a really good News Day. You probably noticed I took January the 2nd off. It is now January the 3rd. I sat around the 1st with a couple of my kids, my grandkid and a friend, and we had a nice dinner with a little bit of A, B, and C. The kids gave me the look because I didn't cook a dish that I've cooked so many times. I'm tired of cooking it. And I thought, we'll just have something slightly different. Yeah, and I got, but what happened to the carrot and cheesy thing, Graham? It's like, I didn't make it. It's like, whatever. Today, I was going to talk about all the wonderful things Canada/Canadians do. Even now, as we whine and cry about life being upside down and backwards. And decided that I really wasn't going to because something happened this afternoon. My grandson was talking to one of my daughters and they were talking about gaming. And she suggested one game. He said, I know it's a really good game, but it's not high impact action. And he said, I have a really short attention span. So he said, I can't handle that kind of the quiet games. I need something that's got lots of action in it to keep my attention. And I sat there and thought, wait a second, wait. I know this kid. I tutor his math. I sit with him. And I literally, the grand total of my tutoring his math, I walk in with my coffee, I walk in his tea, he sits down at the computer, listens to the video for 2.5 minutes, asks me to clarify it, and then does the work. And he will sit there for an hour on his math. He's not hyper-focused because that is something with kids who are ADD or ADHD, combination, whichever, is that they will become hyper-focused where the rest of the world doesn't matter. And it got me thinking about really what's causing this short attention span that we're all seeing. And I know my algorithms push me towards this kind of video because I'm always looking up educationally oriented things and kid things. But I'm finding more and more, this is how I deal with being ADHD. This is how I deal with my ADD. I'm this, I'm that. And I am not, as a special ed teacher, ever going to belittle ADD. I've seen kids in full-blown ADD that go, I wish mom would let me have my Ritalin, because when I had it, I could at least focus. I can't focus now. And they can't. It's not that they get bored. Their brain just starts and then it goes left or it goes right, but it doesn't stay focused at all. And as I was driving kids around and picking up Timmy's and things like that tonight, I remembered in my teacher's college, in my special ed course that I took, we had to read and do an evaluation on a report from kids growing up in the 60s, because even the teachers back there were saying these kids can't stay focused as much as they used to. So we had to read it and write our report on it. And what they were finding was that kids in the 60s, that's when all the cartoons started to come out, like Bugs Bunny versus Elmer Fudd and all those kind of cartoons where no scene lasted more than 3 to 5 seconds. That's it. And you just sit there and go 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. That's the length of time your brain had to stay focused before it changed. And they changed it for you. Okay? Well, if you're driving a car, you have to stay focused for more than 5 seconds. Otherwise, we're going to have an accident. And while they did not come up with a definitive answer that this is what was causing this, their leanings in their conclusions was they felt that this was what was causing it because they didn't have the problems in the 40s and 50s that they're finding in the 60s. So that clicked and reminded me of that. And again, as I'm driving around doing what mummies have to do and grandmas have to do, I started thinking about my grandson and his comment about his always has to be fast-moving, highly action-packed things for him to stay focused. And I thought, are we doing this to ourselves? Now, the guys that produce these games are not doing this to to make us have short attention spans. That's not their intent. Their intent is to create something entertaining that they can sell. They've got a storyline. They want to make it into a game. So they're going to make it fun and exciting and keep the adrenaline going for the player, etc., etc. So their intent is not to shorten our attention span. But they're inadvertently shortening our attention span because my kid, it's every second and a half before it's changing. At the same time, something's coming this way and something's coming that way. So you like to say, well, he has to keep his attention on everything at once. Yes and no, because it's on the whole thing. At the same time, there's 15 things happening. And then I got, well, okay, that's him. But what about all these other people who are finding that they have short attention spans and are screaming that they're ADD? And again, I would never knock somebody who's been identified as ADD or hyperactive because I have seen it in the classroom and they cannot stay focused for love nor money. And because they can't stay focused and they think they're off doing left, like it is to the point it literally gets in the way of their day by day living, right? They start to go to the bathroom and then they end up in front of the office because they forgot what they were going for. And I thought, is it for things like everything to grab our attention, to get our money, to make the sale, that it's flashing? So think when you go to the store and it's open, that shortens our attention span, and it's always bringing our attention to that thing. So you're not paying attention to everything else. People watching shorts. How often can you sit and watch a short and it rolls from 1 to 2 to 3, and the next thing you know, it's 2 hours later and you're still watching shorts? Why? Because every one of those can maximum is 60 seconds. That's it. If it goes over 60 seconds, it cuts. Have you ever watched a short and it suddenly stops? It's because it's run out of the 60 seconds. Because I've been looking into doing shorts for this channel, and it's a max of 60 seconds. TikToks are different. And so I'm thinking, we're doing this to ourselves inadvertently. I don't think any of us really would like to shorten our attention spans. But even those of us who craft, our attention span is on that little thing and then that little thing. We see the bigger picture, but we break it into little pieces. So what do we do about this? How do we change this so that we can lengthen our attention span? For students in class, phones go away, guys. Because as much as they may be in my math class and they're quote focusing, part of their brain is on that. So they're not 100% focusing on my stuff, on the whiteboard or the blackboard or the smart board. They're also focusing on this, so that's taking away. So if we get rid of the things that are distracting and we slowly encourage them to have longer spells where they have to stay focused. Because how many times have they sat down on one of my exams and 20 minutes in, they're going like this and they can't. And you're going, are you okay? Yep, just stretching. Because they're not used to having to stay focused for an hour. So what can you and I do about it? Outside of smile. Set an alarm so you're not watching shorts after one short after another short. Watch longer things. Take your time. Question why you're watching it. My parents used to sit and watch the news, and yes, it'd be a 2-minute news report or a 5-minute news report. But it wasn't the 30 seconds. It wasn't the 15 seconds. It was longer spells. So you and I as individuals, because corporations aren't going to change. Ads are ads. They got to be quick and short and to the point. Think about it. Have you ever seen, it's a Chinese dance group that comes over to North America in December. And they have some really short, about minute shows, ads that show them doing the routine, and this is where you can get your tickets, etc., etc. But there are some YouTube ads out for that Chinese, and this isn't anything against Chinese, but it's just so you know what dance group I'm talking about. And it goes on for 5 minutes. Well, I get in into a minute, and I don't want to hear anymore. I've got it. I know what you're talking about. So the manufacturers or the marketing people want to make it short. They want to get the point across fast because they know 5-minute ads like that Chinese dance group is you're going to lose their attention. So it's up to you and I, for our own mental health and our own attention span, to work to help make it longer and longer so that we can stay focused longer and longer. Example, I cannot do the dishes for 40 minutes. I do not have a dishwasher. I got 2 hands. I know me. I find dishes boring. I've always hated doing them. So I just start them and go do something. Come back and do a bit more. And I just keep breaking it mostly because I hate dishes. Simple as that. And so I have to break it into bits and keep myself coming back and being focused. So there's my thought for the day. Are we inadvertently shortening our own personal attention, focusing time, because we keep watching shorts, because we keep watching YouTubes? And what can you and I, for our own mental health, do to lengthen our attention spans? Because nothing is more frustrating or more ego killing or more depressing than when we get to the end of the day and maybe we've had a list of 4 things and we didn't get anything of them done. We didn't get half of them done. Because I literally have, I got a new book now, a book that every day I write, like tonight before I go to bed, I will write everything I want to get done tomorrow. And there's certain things that only happen on Saturdays, like the bathroom. Things like that. And I open up my calendar and that's what I have to get done that day. Do I expect to get it all done? No. But it helps me stay focused. Anyways, it just struck me when my kids said that this afternoon and I started thinking about that report back in the 60s, so 60 years ago, that educators and researchers were noticing that the kids, which are now the boomers, their attention spans were shrinking compared to people from previous generations. And what can we do to help our own attention spans get longer and our kids and our grandkids? And as of 2 days ago, it's now Generation B, Beta. So their attention spans can be longer. Because when your attention span is, now the teacher mode here, when your attention span is short, like we're seeing, critical thinking goes out the door. And we need to be critically thinking and evaluating things these days more than ever. Anyways, take care. Have a good evening. We'll see you later. And just think about how you could lengthen your attention span for better understanding.